Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. In this program, we will talk about the expectations from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Bangladesh beginning tomorrow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a 2-day visit to Bangladesh tomorrow. This will be his first foreign visit since the outbreak of coronavirus pandemic over a year back. A host of programs are lined up and a number of agreements are to be signed. In this episode of the agenda, we will discuss the importance of this visit and the expectations thereon. For this, we are joined by A.K. Faizul Haq Raju, who is a senior leader of the ruling Awami League Party of Bangladesh and a member of its International Affairs Committee. He is joining us straight from Dhaka. From Delhi, we are joined by retired diplomat Ambassador Ashok Sajjanhar. But before we start our discussion, have a look at this small report.
As Bangladesh celebrates the golden jubilee of the country's liberation from Pakistan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will join it on the occasion when he travels there tomorrow. Modi will also participate in the birth centenary celebrations of Bangladesh's founder and father of the nation, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who is popularly known as Bangabandhu. This will be the first foreign visit of Modi since the outbreak of coronavirus pandemic over a year back. PM Modi will be the chief guest at Bangladesh's 50th Liberation Day celebrations at the National Parade Ground and Bangabandhu International Conference. It may be recalled that India had played a key role in liberation of Bangladesh in 1971, including going to war with Pakistan. During the visit, Modi will hold detailed talks with his Bangladesh counterpart, Sheikh Hasina, after which the two sides are expected to sign a number of agreements in diverse areas. Modi will also visit the mausoleum at Sheikh Mujibur Rahman at Tungipara in the Gopalganj district, which is also the birthplace of the Bangabandhu. The Indian Prime Minister will also visit the National Martyrs Memorial in Savar to pay homage to those who laid down their lives for the liberation of Bangladesh 50 years ago. He will also be visiting temples of great cultural importance to both the countries, particularly the heritage sites in Satkira and Orakandi. In Orakandi, Modi is scheduled to spend time with the family of Harijan Thakur, founder of the Matua community. This meeting assumes significance as the community has a sizable presence in West Bengal with an estimated population of 1.8 crore with direct impact on 50 assembly constituencies of poll-bound West Bengal. Overall, the visit is going to be a very significant one. Bureau Report.
Now let's welcome our guests, Mr. Haq from Bangladesh and Ambassador Sajjanhar from Delhi. So I'll first go to Mr. Haq. Mr. Haq, how do you see the Prime Minister's visit? It is his first foreign trip after the coronavirus, and how significant is it being seen in Bangladesh?
Thank you, Mr. Oz, and thank you all for us from Bangladesh, particularly my. As you know, that recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made his first ever foreign after assuming power. 14, also to Bangladesh. And so you know that he is best and neighbor also. But India is some, or Bangladesh is not. Having said that, I'd like to come back to that at the time when Bangladesh is about celebrated that is 50th, years of its independence. That is, Prime Minister is still visiting Bangladesh, and definitely a move India's end, and Bangladesh is forward to welcome back Narendra Modi, and just raise that thing that Modi is also to Bangladesh. His first ever visit after the pandemic, that is the COVID-19. So, what of expectations are going on here? which is really a positive side of the. But at the same time, the bilateral India and Bangladesh is going on, and uh, we expect some from India, especially on the partisan issues that remain.
Yes.
So, Bangladesh in particular are looking forward to fruitful discussions and make these issues, namely this what a
Right.
sharing issue, also the border killing issue, India's help towards Bangladesh, settling the issues happening at the moment.
Okay, I'll come back to you for more, but Ambassador Sajanar is also there. So, Ambassador, first, I want to know your views on this visit and the timing, particularly when Bangladesh is celebrating 50th anniversary of its liberation from Pakistan. So, how significant is this visit?
I think it's hugely significant, Ajay, because as you mentioned, it's a very landmark event, 50 years,
Right.
half a century from its liberation from Bangladesh. And I think you need to keep in mind also the circumstances under which Bangladesh, at that time East Pakistan, fought for its independence, under what difficult circumstances, not only as far as the then East Pakistan was concerned, also as far as the whole international environment was concerned. Whether it is China or it is the United States, both of them were totally opposed to any disintegration of Pakistan. So it is not only in terms of the 100,000 soldiers from Pakistan who were committing genocide, who were raping women. So many million people were killed. So many million refugees had come to India. It is not only the circumstances there, but also the fact that globally, the major powers and even the United Kingdom, they were opposed to the freedom and the liberation of Bangladesh. So I think it is under those circumstances that the valiant Mukti Bahini fought along with the support of Indian soldiers. Indian soldiers also laid down their lives in this heroic struggle. And those are the circumstances under which victory was obtained. So it's a hugely significant. It's also the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between India and Bangladesh. So that's also an important event. And also Bangladesh today marks the one centenary, 100 years of the birth of his year-long celebrations of the birth of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Bangabandhu, the father of the nation.
Yeah.
And the Prime Minister was to go for that last year, but again, because of the COVID, he could not go. And so the fact that this is the first visit that the Prime Minister is making after the COVID thing. He has not been out of the country. He's held a huge number of virtual summits, huge number of virtual meetings, interactions with his counterparts, even with Sheikh Hasina on the 17th of December last year. He had a very important summit meeting with Begum Sheikh Hasina, in which a large number of important decisions were taken and important infrastructure projects and connectivity projects were flagged off. So, although the cooperation between the two sides has been going on, but this is the first physical visit by the Prime Minister outside the country.
Right.
And that truly signifies the importance and the significance that India attaches to its relations with Bangladesh.
Yeah, so India attaches a lot of significance to this. So, Mr. Aizul Haq, I'll come back to you about when we talk about 50 years of liberation of Bangladesh, I mean birth of Bangladesh, and as we see all the indices, Bangladesh has done very well economically and otherwise also after getting separated from Pakistan. But at the same time, we have seen, there are growing pro-Pakistan sentiments or maybe many anti-India sentiments, although India helped in liberation of Bangladesh. So what explains that?
Well, there is also there is also political issue that is pretty clear face as here Bangladesh are concerned. Uh, Pakistan said that the forces, uh, you know, after the defeat of 70 war they actually integrated some of the that so remain in Bangladesh. And soon after the brutal assassination of Mujibur Rahman, 1975, changeover that followed in Bangladesh, successive government after 1970, they had some say, political with the governments and also the contribution to and the spirit of that one that course of our Russian war struggle, those were actually largely and stream was there play and as a result, the Indian movement started, as you can see, and the overall political elections and bilateral since until Sheikh Hasina took over 1 year, 96, remained some not very friendly. There were irritations of and anti-Indian propaganda sort of went through the. So against this, when took over power in 2008, end of 2008, she took it a point to, make the ties closer. And one of key things that she has done and capacity that Bangladeshi lands were not allowed to stage or host any anti-Indian programs and events, especially those insurgencies that were completely allowed from Bangladesh.
Yeah, as you mentioned that
So-
Sheikh, yeah, please go on. You want to continue?
As a result,
Yeah.
the ties were further, and the bilateral relations were much better, especially as it had the relations that have built up over the last 12 years has been.
Yeah, relations have improved, as you mentioned, but as you mentioned
Yes.
that she has crushed on these, radical elements. But radicalism and extremism, I think, is still a major concern in Bangladesh. And there are also views that ISI, Pakistan's intelligence agency, is very active in Bangladesh. So what will you say on that?
Well, that is one of the really still there, and governments and outfits, especially some, radical outfits that try to rise the situation both in and we have some here, maybe not much, but again, from time to time, they try to come up with sister and agendas, and sometimes and comes concern expectations and between.
Yes. So, Ambassador Sajjan Har, I come to you. So, as you heard that about what Sheikh Hasina has done to crush radicalism and extremism, but it still remains a concern. While Sheikh Hasina has been very tough on this, but Khalida Zia has been kind of sympathetic or maybe pro all this. So, that concern still remains for India. What do you say?
No, I agree with you. You see, there are things that one has to keep in mind that there are some political parties, whether it is Jamaat-e-Islami or BNP, etc., those which were more prone to Pakistan. Possibly they did not want the liberation of Bangladesh. They wanted somehow some modus vivendi to be found so that, East Pakistan would continue to be a part of Pakistan even after the elections that took place in 1970. And so they were not fully reconciled to the emergence of Bangladesh as an independent, as a sovereign nation. So even after independence, they had a soft spot and they wanted to maintain good relations, better relations. And in that sense, they provided a good opportunity for Pakistan's ISI for the spy agency to carry on activities against India. Also, there were a large number of Indian insurgent groups which were given safe havens, which were provided safe havens in Bangladesh, their bank accounts, their support, their training, etc. Although many of the details of all these insurgent groups,
Were repeatedly shared,
their
yeah.
coordinates, they were provided, but
No action.
no action was taken against them.
Yeah.
But after Sheikh Hasina came to power in 2009, I think she has really behaved like a statesman. She is like a with vision, what is good for the country, that needs to be done. And I think she realized very quickly that having good, positive relations with India is to the advantage, to the benefit of Bangladesh. And starting from 2009 onwards, I think it has moved forward. 2014, Prime Minister Modi came to power.
Yeah, Ambassador, as you mentioned, as you mentioned about that, she has done, made a lot of efforts to have friendly relations. But like Teesta agreement, which is pending for a decade, and then CA has now come up, and these are the sticky points, which also helps fuel anti-India sentiments. So, what do you say on that, Ambassador?
Okay, let me put it as far as Teesta is concerned, because now India has realized that although foreign policy is a remit of the central government in Delhi, but still the state governments also have a role to play, and you have to carry the state governments along with you. That is why you would recall that in 1975, the Indira Mukti Accord, the land boundary agreement was signed, but it could not be ratified by our parliament.
Right.
Because a number of state governments, particularly Tripura, they were opposed to it. I think the remarkable achievement and contribution of Prime Minister Modi was when he came to power, he was able to speak to all the state governments and get them to unanimously pass the LBA from in the parliament. And that is what he carried with himself when he went to Bangladesh in 2015. And that really went a long way in strengthening the credibility as well as confidence of the Bangladesh leadership that Prime Minister Modi, although he comes from BJP, and BJP to an extent was looked at a little suspiciously by Bangladesh, that he was sincere in strengthening relations between India and Bangladesh. As far as Teesta is concerned, you would remember that when Dr. Manmohan Singh had gone to Bangladesh in 2011, Mamata Banerjee, the chief minister of West Bengal, was to travel with him. At the last minute, she said no. So basically, I think there is confidence and trust as far as Sheikh Hasina is concerned, Awami League is concerned, people of Bangladesh are concerned that Mr. Modi is really keen, sincere and interested in resolving the Teesta issue to mutual benefit and advantage. But it is only because of the objections of the state government that the matter is not moving through. You would recall in one of the visits by Sheikh Hasina, she had categorically mentioned that if there is one leader in India who can get this peace agreement through, it is Prime Minister Modi.
Yeah, but
So I think they have.
at the same time, CA is also CAA came later on, which has actually Bangladesh's government has been very unhappy about.
Yeah, they have been unhappy about it. But I think there is also this feeling that some of these issues are more for, at the level of domestic politics. And that is how it is being. And I think from
Okay,
the highest level, it has been explained to Bangladesh that it is not intended in any way against Bangladesh or the people there.
right.
It is in terms of domestic politics that, and after all, CAA, NRC has been mandated by the Supreme Court. And
Yeah.
that is why the government is carrying out those activities.
So
It is not that it is
yeah.
suo moto that these activities are being carried out.
Yeah, so let me ask Fazul Haq how they see CAA. I mean, are they understanding that it is only, it's not against Bangladesh?
No, we understand that this issue is a bit complex as India is concerned. But as you know, we have signed a memorandum and agreement in to this effect that India would be sharing Bangladesh's due shares of water, and this is for quite a while now. Certainly, there is a level of from the people of Bangladesh, and one of the concerns is that the government, led by Prime Minister, always comes under domestic by and also by when India deliver the Tista water, on time, and as Sanjakar has explained nicely, the Modi government has quite brilliantly resolved long over issue of the land bound and got it by the Indian, having all stakeholders, political parties at the same time. So we look forward to have sharing almost the same that the land agreement has been done, and I think time has that the Modi took efforts in order to make.
So are your concerns over CAA over? I mean, are you satisfied now? There is nothing against Bangladesh?
About which one?
CAA, Citizenship Act.
Well, that is also but there is always this debate of the cross-border, and we largely debate the Indian side about political damage, because we can only on one side, and it is New Delhi that should take the pragmatic role and vital here,
right,
in order to find concern.
Okay, Fazul Haq, I want to ask you about when we talk about Prime Minister's program there, he is going to meet the Matwa community there. So how significant is that?
Well, that is of the visit, and it's a positive one.
No, how significant? Because this is related to this Citizen Amendment Act also. I mean, for giving refuge to people who are oppressed or tormented under religious issues.
In India?
Yeah. No, he is going to meet a Matwa community in Bangladesh.
Yes, that is there, in And let us that just give part any concern or I look forward with a positive at the moment.
Okay, Ambassador Sajjan Har. So, as we talked about the Matwa community people whom the Prime Minister will be visiting, and he is also visiting ancient temples also. So, how do you see those things?
Ajay, to be fair to this, that whenever the Prime Minister goes anywhere, he visits a cross section, meets cross section of people. After all, he's always met people of Indian diaspora wherever he's gone. When he goes to, let's say, Muslim countries, he visits mosques there. When he was other places, he visits temples there. So I don't think really we should be reading anything particular or any sinister motive in this that, it is for some hidden agenda or something. No, he is going to meet a cross section of people when he is in Bangladesh. He is going to meet people, the youth, the women, the opposition parties, the ruling government parties, across the board. He's having these meetings.
Yeah,
So I
Yes,
think
exactly.
these people also he's meeting, and so it is. After all, it's not every day the Prime Minister of India is visiting Bangladesh.
right.
And so, last time he
So,
went there was in 2015, and
yeah,
now he's going after 6 years. So when he's going there, he's meeting, and after all, Bangladesh is an extremely friendly country. I would say that our relations with Bangladesh are truly a role model of how neighbors should be living with each other.
yeah, sure.
There is total trust, there's total confidence in every sense of the word. Bangladesh is our largest trade partner. Bangladesh is our largest development partner. Largest number of visas that are issued are from Bangladesh. And so I think there is, what Sheikh Hasina also said last time, India is a true friend. So, when
Yeah,
a friend goes to visit another friend, we shouldn't be really trying to see hidden meanings or hidden agendas.
no, we
I
are,
think we should welcome and support and applaud the relationship as the strong relationship that
right.
exists, and also work towards
Yeah, we are happy that the relationship is prospering. So we have to close. Faizullah, you wanted to say something?
No, I would like to just
Because we have to close. Yeah.
we are standing at a time when about to celebrate independence, and India, largest partner and developing partner,
Right.
as Senator has rightly just now. We look forward to much more cooperation with India because everyone's happy and
Yes.
self-reliant
So yeah,
to the extent.
yeah, we
So,
yeah we look forward to. I'm sure that there will be further cooperation, and after the visit, maybe we will have a revisit. We will have another discussion on that. So, but today's program is over. So, thank you both of you for participating in this today.
Thank you.
thank you very much.
This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important topic tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.